We welcome you to the north side of Indianapolis, and frankly, one of the more unique things we should do every year. We kick off our summer at North Central High School with the Beep Baseball Bonanza, put on by the Indy Thunder and by Darnell Booker, with 8 teams from all across the country. Today, the Thunder's opponent, the Bayou City Heat. My name is Greg Rakestraw, joined by Dave Benny, one of the lead voices of Beep Baseball across the United States and, frankly, internationally as well. But a very special guest going to join us off the top of the broadcast. His name is Fonzie Medrano, and he has a lot of different roles in the Beep Baseball community. Today, coach, pitcher, spotter of Bayou City. Fonzie, welcome back to Indianapolis. How you doing today?
Doing so good. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. Appreciate this.
Tell me about your connection to sport, how you got involved with Beep Baseball.
So back when I was 12 years old, my cousin got me started. My cousin Carlos Medrano got me started with this, and I was actually his private pitcher for quite some time. And then one day he invited me out to their practice, and ever since that day when I went out there, I pitched to the whole team, and they invited me back right after that. So ever since that, my first practice, I've been a starting pitcher for them.
So if you don't mind giving away your age, how long you been involved with Beep Baseball now?
Oh, Beep Baseballs. Man, I'm going on, 28, 29 years, something like that. Yeah, so.
Tell me about the team you bring to Indianapolis this time around.
Oh, we got the Bayou City Heat. Yeah, we picked up some players this season, but yeah, it's just come out here, put in work. To me, I get a lot of reps when I'm pitching, so to me, it helps me get better and get prepared for the World Series. And all the players that come out to help us. They put all their heart into it. So it's all about getting ready for the World Series.
Because we broadcast to an audience that knows Beep Baseball, some of this is remedial, but because a lot of folks are maybe seeing this for the first time,
yes, sir.
This is very new. Obviously, the ball is bigger than a baseball, frankly, bigger than a softball, and has to make noise because, again, we are catering to athletes that are blind and visually impaired, and everyone is equally 100% blind, whether in the field or at the plate in this sport. So there's a little engineering that is required this ball.
Yes, sir.
And a few years ago, you created your own. Tell us about it.
Well, it's something I've always wanted to do. And I know there was an issue at one point, so I was like, you know what, let me do something about it. So I started putting a lot of hard work in it, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into my project. And so every day I go to work, come home, and first thing I do is go in my garage and go to work. And it was just something, it was a process. And it took some time to get to where I wanted my circuit to be, but I finally got it. And but I mean, there's always room for improvement, and I'm always looking into that.
My buddy Darnell Booker is known to embellish things from time to time, but he says the Fonzie ball saved the 2021 World Series. Is that true?
Yes, I would say yes.
All right.
And it was my honor, it was my pleasure to do that for the league because I love this game, I love this sport, and I'll do anything to just keep this sport alive forever and ever.
To pick up the Fonzie baseball, to order it for teams that are in need, or if you're thinking this is a sport that could help someone to be more to feel more as a team, to be more athletic, etc., where can people pick up the Fonzie ball?
Well, they can call me anytime. I'm very approachable. Email me at alfonso_medrano@yahoo.com, or there's also an MBBA email address. I believe it's ball.org. Yeah, ball.org. But you can call me anytime, 832-212-2538 if you have any questions. I'm willing to help. Anything, if you need me, just call me or text me or email me.
You've got a game to go pitch. We'll let you go do it. Fonzie, thanks for the time today.
Thank you so much.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Fonzie Medrano again from the Bayou City Heat. And before Dave Benny joins us here on the broadcast, I want to make sure we thank our pregame show sponsor that brings you today's contest. That's our friends at Opti Park. Looking for a place to hold your next event or get-together? Come to Opti Park, located in the heart of Broad Ripple. Opti Park is home to baseball, birthday parties, family reunions, and playground fun. Opti Park is a community park, not a city park, and run by volunteers for over 60 years. OptiParkIndy.com. Again, provided by the Optimist Club of the north side of Indianapolis, proud sponsor of the Indy Thunder. Well, it is truly my honor twice a year, sometimes maybe just once, but this weekend twice, to get to work with Dave Benny. My friend, it is good to be with you again, and we have moved up our game times today, trying to avoid kind of the heavier rain, which we have been dealing with. It is a light rain today. So, Dave, I guess let's start with that right there. Having a bit of a slick ball and a slick field, what does that mean for today's game?
Well, thanks for having me back, Greg. If it's your honor, it's my privilege. It's always great to be here covering the Indy Beep Ball Bonanza 23rd edition. This is one of the longest-running tournaments in Beep Baseball. We moved the schedule up an hour because of the threat of rain. Now, they will play through rain within reason. If it's not too hard that it becomes a safety issue where it's hard to hear balls and bases and the other fielders because the game is played by sound, but they won't play through lightning. So as a precaution, move the games up an hour, and so far we've managed to stay on schedule, and so far the worst of it has managed to stay away. If the fields get wet, it can affect the defense much the same way that a wet ball, akin to football. You want to make sure that you control that ball and that when you pick it up, you hold it tight, because if you don't, it could squeeze out just like a bar of soap. So the balls get wet, the fields get a little bit slick, and so footing and fielding can become an issue. But both these teams have a lot of veteran players who have played through a lot of weather conditions, so I don't expect that it's going to have a huge effect. And what can have more of an effect sometimes when you have inclement weather can be the wind, because it can make it hard to hear. We haven't had that problem much. The wind hasn't been a factor yet today, Greg.
Well, this is the third game for each of these two teams today. And the previous game, which wrapped really about 45 minutes ago for the Indy Thunder, was a loss, which frankly does not happen very often. The Gateway Archers got them by a score of 25-18. Thoughts on that score that took place less than an hour ago, Dave?
Well, the Thunder don't lose very often in Indianapolis or in the state of Indiana. In fact, since 2016, the Indy Thunder have won every Bonanza tournament other than 2022, when the crosstown rival Indy Edge won it. So the Gateway Archers, that's a huge win for them, but they came into the game undefeated on the season, and Gateway has played in several tournaments already. They're a very dynamic and strong team. Both the Thunder and the Archers are going to be in the conversation for a world championship this year. It was a high-scoring game. The Archers jumped out to an early lead on the Thunder, and the Thunder were playing catch-up the rest of the game, and the Archers were just relentless. They didn't stop scoring until the sixth inning, and by then they had an 11-run lead, and so the Thunder, they did some things well. In fact, they made a little history in that last game against Gateway with back-to-back home runs in the fourth inning by Aaron C. and Kyle Lewis, and that was Aaron C.'s second of the day. I've never seen, and I don't believe that we've ever had back-to-back home runs in a game in beat baseball history. So, playing with the new ball, as you heard Fonzie in the interview, we're playing a lot with the Fonzie manufactured balls, and they tend to fly a little bit farther, and so we are seeing more home runs. But the bottom line is, the Bayou City Heat come into this game 1-1. The Thunder come in 1-1, both with wins over Cleveland in their side of the round robin, and both with losses to the Archers. So, for all practical purposes, this game is for a spot in the third, fourth place game tomorrow morning. The Archers, barring some unforeseen circumstance, will be playing in tomorrow morning's championship game out of this bracket. But this should still be a great game. Jared Woodard, Fonzie Medrano, two of the very best in the business. In fact, they were the starting pitchers for the All-Star Showcase event last December. So you can't get much better than that as you hear the Thunder start to rev it up on their sidelines, Greg.
The Thunder actually have two teams in this event this year. They have split to a blue team and a gray team for this event only. And part of that, and frankly it's affected other rosters here as well, is that the two of the top, say, three teams in the world in terms of beat baseball have been here in Indianapolis the last couple of years, the Indy Thunder and the Indy Edge. The team that was kind of in that mix with them, the San Antonio Jets, unfortunately, are not going to field a team this year, and so some of their players have kind of dispersed to various teams across the country.
And that's correct. And the Jets were the 8th team that was originally in this tournament. And so when they decided they weren't going to be able to field a team this year, two things happened. First of all, two of their starters and two of their all-star starters were picked up by the Indy Thunder, Mike Coughlin and Axel Cox, and you'll see them both in the game today. And the other was, there was an open slot in the tournament, and the Indy Thunder, with better than 20 players on their roster, decided to go split squad for this tournament. And so you've got the Thunder blue team, which has most of the veteran, say, starters and big pieces for the World Series, and then the gray team, which is kind of more of a developmental team, but even though they're 0-2 so far on the day, even the gray team has been competitive in their losses. So it's about getting them reps, and this is all preparation for the World Series in St. Charles, Missouri, coming up late next month.
So the Bayou City Heat on your screen. Some of the names that we'll call throughout the course of today's contest. Again, the pitcher, Fonzie Medrano, Tanner Gears, Richie Flores, Grant Simpson, Mike Finn, Jason Esterhausen, and Zion Prince amongst the players we'll see both in the field and at the plate in today's game. We flashed the rules of the game on screen earlier. Let's reference it again. 6 fielders are in the field of play. There are spotters that can help them. Everybody has to be equally blindfolded. No sight allowed whatsoever. And there is basically runs not separate from being hits. If you get to the base before the ball is caught and lifted off of the ground, that is a run for your team. We do have a run rule potentially involved. We'll explain that if we need to. But again, 6 innings per game, 6 batters per team. You can have a designated hitter or a designated fielder involved in the lineup.
And there is a home run line at 170 feet from home plate. If the ball crosses that line in the air on the fly, it counts for 2 runs. And the reason that I say that is because we've had at least 3 home runs already today. All that I've seen by the Indy Thunder. Aaron C. has 2 of them, and Kyle Lewis has 1. So that home run line may come into play. We've seen home runs on ISC before. I think Corey White has, in fact, done it twice.
Correct.
In games on ISC broadcast. And so there is the possibility that we could see a home run which counts for 2. And also a new rule that they've just incorporated. If a ball is fielded on 1 bounce, it's akin to a double play. It counts for 2 outs. And so we haven't seen that yet today, but occasionally that will come into play as well. There is a 40-foot arc past the pitcher's circle or pitcher's spot that the ball must cross to be in fair territory, so there's no dropping down a bunt per se in beat baseball. It has to go past that 40-foot arc, and the foul lines are 10 feet inside the baseline for safety purposes. Bases are 100 feet from home plate.
So with that, Tanner Gears will lead things off for Bayou City. 6 fielders in the field of play for the Indy Thunder. Final game of the day for each of these 2 teams. Everybody will play 1 tomorrow.
Tanner Gears has been the leadoff hitter for the Heat for roughly the past decade, maybe decade and a half. He was inducted into the National Beat Baseball Association Hall of Fame in 2022.
And just a light mist right now.
They'll play through that, Greg.
And tell us about our umpire for today's contest, Dave.
So the plate umpire is Jordan Sibson, S-I-B-S-O-N, and if that name rings a bell to those who follow Beat Baseball, she is the daughter of Wayne and Jamie Sibson, longtime beat ball players. Game on, Greg.
First pitch, swing and a miss by Gears. First strike.
You are allowed to take a pitch, but I would be surprised if the Bayou City Heat did that. They ordinarily don't.
Ground ball by Gears. It does cross the 40-foot line, and ball is grabbed, out, recorded, 1 away.
With these competitive teams, the top-tier teams, ground balls will almost always be picked up. You've got to get the ball in the air and past that first line of defenders to really have a good chance to score.
So next to the plate will be Mike Finn.
Bosma Enterprise.
Finn is also in the Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2017. He's been playing for about 30 years. He is from California. He plays ordinarily with the Austin Blackhawks. The Heat were short-handed with their regulars at this tournament, so they have picked up a few players from other rosters for this particular tournament.
Foul ball. First strike.
Mike Finn has won several world championships, first with the West Coast Dogs, which were a powerhouse.
Ground ball, left side. Ball hops over the fielder. It is grabbed and out. 2 down.
And that's Cody Jeffries, number 1, the right short player on that putout. Cody's been improving on defense. We all know what he can do with his bat.
And Cody joined the Thunder a season ago, correct?
He did. He came over from the Atlanta Chaos and made an immediate impact. In fact, he was the offensive MVP or batting champion at the World Series last year. I don't believe that Jared struck him out once the entire season.
Grant Simpson is at the plate.
Grant Simpson, S-I-M-P-S-O-N, is a good-looking rookie. We saw him in Oklahoma.
Swings over top of the ball and misses. Strike 1.
I would say he's one of the top 2 or 3 rookie prospects we have.
Foul ball. Did not stay in the field of play.
You can see why. He's got a decent swing, and he's already found contact on the second pitch from Fonzie.
How rare is it to have 3 straight outs in an inning in this sport, Dave?
It depends on a lot of things. Depends on field conditions, depends on the team. 3 balls in play. If you can put 3 out in a row, that's a good inning.
Swing and a miss. 3rd strike. You'll get 1 more opportunity and can take a pass here as well.
I'm betting against a pass. They don't generally do that with Fonzie. Now, they will with Jared. The Thunder will do it. But
swing and a miss. So 1, 2, 3 go the Heat in the top of the 1st. We'll see the Indy Thunder come to bat. First, this for our friends at Comfort Care Home Care. They want you to know that their focus is to help clients live their best life possible. They're a premier non-medical home care company committed to their clients with their fall risk, dementia care, inclusive ally and veterans programs. This Comfort Care South Indy office won the 2023 Franchise Office of the Year. They're a proud supporter of Team Indy Thunder. Well, the batting lineup for the Indy Thunder will be what it was in their previous game. In the loss to the Gateway Archers, Cody Jeffers, Gerald Dykes, Aaron C., Kyle Lewis, Mike Coughlin, and Axel Cox. Dave, what strikes you about this group of 6 immediately?
Well, they've got scoring potential all up and down the lineup. When you can have Axel Cox as your 6-hole hitter, and he is about a career 600 batter at the World Series. That's a dynamic lineup, and they've had no problem scoring runs today. And so, good start for their defense. Let's see if they can jump right on them here.
Let's also thank our friends at Simplified Insurance Solutions. Health insurance experts offering Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans, prescription drug plans, dental, vision, and hearing coverage. Located in Lawrence, call Latrice Jeter today at 888-340-7633. There you see the lineup, and you can tell we have the crowd mics cranked up for audiences of all sighting ability to be able to enjoy the broadcast today. So yes, you can find the broadcast on ISC's Twitter account at ISC Sportsnet, on ISC's YouTube page as well, and at ISCSportsNetwork.com. For those of you that have Apple TV and Roku, the feed is available there as well.
And for those who follow the National Beat Baseball Association and our various social medias, we are attempting to share that there as well so that you can find it wherever you're comfortable on whatever platform.
Cody Jeffries at the plate. Right back up the middle. That will roll through and safe.
Right up the middle, and that usually means the timing is perfect. You know, it's a symbiotic relationship. I think we talk about it on every broadcast in this sport between pitcher and batter. Think coach pitch. And so when the timing's right and the ball's where the pitcher wants it on the bat and everything's perfect, a lot of times you'll have it right back up the gut.
Good diving effort by Simpson. Just couldn't get the ball lifted off the ground in time before the batter in Jeffries hustles down the line. So now Gerald Dykes to the plate. Only 1-0 lead for the Indy Thunder here in the home half of the first. High target, fouled straight back. Darnell Booker serving as the catcher. Tell us about the pitcher for the Indy Thunder, Dave.
Jared Woodard, he's the top pitcher by whatever metric you want to use in the sport right now. He started at the age of 16.
Contact made, ground ball left side. Third base bag, left side. And he's safe.
2 up, 2 in. Getting back to Jared, he started younger than 16. He won his first world championship at the age of 16 in 2007 with the Kansas All-Stars. And, of course, was the pitcher for the 5 straight world championships for the Indy Thunder from 2016 through 2021. And what a team that was.
Aaron C. now is at the plate, and as Dave mentioned, homered in the previous game.
Now,
did so twice.
Yeah, not once, but twice. He hit one against Cleveland in the first one, and then he hit one against the Archers in the 4th inning as part of that back-to-back with Kyle Lewis. Aaron he's a banger, and he's a big, strapping lad.
Swings and misses. Former college football player was Aaron.
Franklin College.
Played with the Indy Edge for joining the Thunder. This one is lined towards the right side. Knocked down by a fielder and grabbed. He's out.
That's a great play.
Well, it rings true in beat baseball as well as baseball. The old axiom is hit them where they ain't. Well, that time Aaron C. hit them where they were. First out of the inning, even though he smoked that ball off the bat.
Still, even when you hit it where you hit, the defender's got to react very quickly, and he's relying on only his ears. So that's an excellent play. Was that Richie Flores?
I think that was Finn that made that play.
Finn made the play, and Finn makes a lot of those. He's one of the top midfield defenders in history, in my opinion. He's been doing it a long time.
So Kyle Lewis, who homered in the previous game as well. See, wearing the captain C on his right shoulder.
And Kyle's dangerous because he's a slugging lefty. And most, not all, but most players in beat baseball hit from the right side. So when you can get a lefty, and then you're going to have another one with Mike Coughlin, sort of switch the defense up a little bit.
And for those who aren't used to watching the sport, you hear both bases are toned, as this one will end up not ranking the 40-foot line. So it's a foul ball for a strike. But you'll hear the bases reset, so batter can have a chance to hear exactly what his target is going to be in terms of running down the baseline. And those tones alternate, so you can't get a beat on which bag you're supposed to run to. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
And they are supposed to come on simultaneous with the ball crossing home plate. And so if they come on a little bit late, you can call a late base, and if the umpire agrees.
Pass for Kyle Lewis. There's his pass.
There's your first pass, and they will. And a lot of times they'll do that on 2 strikes. If they get to 2 strikes on Jared, they will take the 3rd one.
Foul ball. He'll have one more opportunity.
They've gone as far as they can go. It's full.
Brief. Sometimes you'll have a 3-strike event. This is a 4-strike event. And it's a swing and a miss. So Lewis retired as the 2nd out of the inning.
And there is a proposal again this year that's coming up with the league to eliminate that 4th strike and go to 3 strikes. It's been tested in tournaments, local non-sanctioned tournaments, and the rule has been proposed for about the last decade. But it sounds like perhaps the membership will get a vote on that, and we may, if they pass it by a majority, go to 3 strikes.
Mike Coughlin is at the plate. Tell us about Mike.
Mike Coughlin is a multi-time All-Star, both with the New Jersey Titans, the Bayou City Heat. He was going to play with the Jets this year until the Jets decided they couldn't field a team, and so the Thunder picked him up. Excellent 2-way player.
Lefty swing and a miss on the ball that was kind of an outside offering. Contact made, elevated, right side, ball grabbed.
That's arguably a late base. That base came on late, and if he called it and the ump agrees, and I think it was late, I think he's gonna, my ears told me he should get a redo. But I'm a former player, so I'm a little biased on that. Let's see, if they bring him back to the plate, that means he got his late base.
That is correct.
You can score on a late base because, of course, the disadvantage is to the runner, but you cannot make an out if the base is late. It's a replay.
Now, is it a fresh count, or does it go back to what the count was previously?
It goes back to what the count was previously, and you're going to get me started again because that's another rule proposal that's being hotly debated about if there's an equipment malfunction, whether it should go back to a new count. By equipment malfunction, I mean dead ball late base.
Line drive up the middle, and runner safe.
So after all that, he gets a run. Good, and 2 out runs just like in regular traditional baseball or softball. 2 out runs are very important.
And contact up the middle. We've got the split box replay going as we speak, and again, just able to get to the bag before the ball was lifted and clearly off of the ground. Tremendous job by our ISC Sports Network crew. So now we'll see the Thunder bat around. Tell us about Axel Cox, the number 6 hitter.
It is very odd. Still, I'm getting used to seeing Axel Cox in a Thunder uniform. He played with the San Antonio Jets all those years. 4 straight second-place finishes at the World Series, twice to the Thunder.
Ball lifted, middle of the field. It does cross the 40-foot line. It's short.
It's a foot race.
And he's safe.
Oh, he won the foot race. Axel's got some good speed, and, you know, sometimes it doesn't have to be the hardest hit ball in the world. If you've got speed, you know, much like traditional softball, if you can get it in fair play and you can win the race to the bag, it's just as good. And he turned the lineup, so now you get back to the top to Cody Jeffries with 2 outs. That's very important. This could be a big inning for the Thunder.
So Jeffries, who scored. So batters 1, 2, 5, and 6 in the lineup. All have scored here in the first inning. Great job by our ISC Sports Network crew. Thanks to Eldon Wheeler, the freshly shorn Wes Wolf, J.D. Arlen, Dalton Cox. Thanks to Vince Morales and company. Everybody involved in doing this broadcast for a 5th time in the last 6 years. Swing and a miss by Jeffries.
Oh, you guys are great. And I'm a big fan of prep sports, especially football. I follow it all over the country, and so it's great sometimes to tune in to a top game from Indiana on ISC Sports and hear you, Greg.
Well, thank you, sir. Swing, ground ball, left side. Fielder has it lined up. Out is called, I believe.
That was close.
It is an out. Jeffries,
Yep.
a diving effort. Obviously, we're hearing it when you make that contact with the base, but the fielder is able to lift the ball, get it up off the ground, and we'll get the side-by-side replay here, and the batter is out.
Yep, has to be off the ground, in control, and away from the body for possession to be declared, and if you can get the ball up off the ground and away from the body before the runner reaches the base, it's an out.
We'll take this quick timeout. Back to Indy in a moment. Thunder a 4-0 lead after 1 on the ISC Sports Network.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to travel around their homes and towns. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to keep living at home. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
Let's thank our wonderful sponsors that bring this broadcast to you. First, our friends at Tito's. Love Tito's, turning spirits into love and goodness. And by Bright Ideas Consulting, your logo on everything under the sun. Now the new location, 9855 Crosspoint Boulevard, Suite 116 in Indianapolis. Batters 4, 5, and 6 coming up this time through for Bayou City. Alongside Dave Benning, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thanks for joining us on ISC today. First of 2 days of Beat Baseball from this annual bonanza at North Central High School. Zion Prince is at the plate for Bayou City.
Zion Prince is a new young player from actually on the Gateway Archers roster. He's being borrowed for this game.
Ground ball, left side, fair ball past the 40-foot line. Cody Jeffries able to dive and make the effort.
I think they called it a foul ball.
Yep, turned foul. So across the 40-foot line in fair territory, but then it steered foul. Does that make it a foul ball?
Yep, that makes it a foul ball.
Okay. Even as somebody that's now broadcast this for the last 3 or 4 years, there are reminders I get every year, and things that I'm learning on the fly.
What you don't want is the defenders running up the back of the pitcher, and so that's why you have that 40-foot arc. That, in case the batter out of the box it takes a wrong direction to a base, you try to avoid collisions.
So strike. Swing and a miss for strike number 2. Of course, the Gateway Archers will be the home team for this year's World Series.
Boy, and they've got a squad. They've picked up a couple of Edge players, a couple of Jets players, and they are rolling. The Archers have not lost yet this season in 4 different states.
25-18 earlier. Swing and a miss. So unfortunately, Zion's at bat ends in a strikeout. 4 up and 4 down so far for Bayou City. 1 away in the top of the second.
See if the bottom of the Heat lineup can step it up. Now here's Jason Esterhazen. He came all the way from Southern California to play in this event. He will be playing with the San Gabriel Valley Panthers out of Pasadena, California at the World Series.
How many active teams in this country are there currently, Dave?
It looks like at the World Series this year we'll have somewhere between 17 and 19. We had 19 last year. I think we have 22 teams registered with the league, but we're not going to get all of them to the World Series this year. So I'd say 18 would be a good over-under.
Here's Esterhazen. Foul ball. And you also hear that being called out very early, so there's no reason to leave the batter's box that way. That way the batter knows.
And we have teams from coast to coast.
Contact made left side. Jeffries knocks it down. That's going to be an out.
Nice play. There you go. Now see, he didn't have much time to react. He had a couple of seconds. Good play.
We'll see the replay here. And this is a unique shot where you can see both batter and fielder in the same camera angle. And unfortunately, hit it to the man at short, and it was not far, Dave, for being a one-hop double play. It's only a couple of bounces before Cody fielded that.
Boy, he has improved remarkably on defense. Now I wonder, as the season goes along, if they'll keep playing him on the right side, or maybe try him out at the hotter side of the field traditionally, which is the left side. A lot of balls were getting through the left side against Gateway earlier today.
Richie Flores swings and misses.
Flores has been their defensive ace so far at this tournament. I think he's double-digit in putouts already in his first 2 games.
Contact made, foul ball. And absolutely rocketed it down the line.
Richie Flores is running for president of the National Beat Baseball Association this year, him and Jerry Wendell. Richie's been a big part of the management of the NBBA over the past, say, 5-6 years or so.
Sun trying to fight its way through the clouds. Again, we're expecting heavier showers later in the day, hence why we moved our times up by an hour. Swing and a miss. We'll have one more opportunity.
Yeah, I think we'll get this game in. What I'm interested to see is how much rain we get tonight and how that affects these field conditions for tomorrow morning's early start for the championship.
8 a.m. Eastern time is when the action begins tomorrow. Ground ball, left side, fair ball. Cody Jeffries nabs it.
Oh, yeah.
And 3 in a row, and the first 6 batters have all been retired. And not only that's a good thing for the pitcher, not in this sport. That's not what the Bayou City Heat are hoping for. Again, we'll see the side-by-side replay here, Dave.
Cody Jeffries solid. He's solid, and he's been solid already. I think that's 3 putouts now in the first 6 batters for Cody to start this game, and it's unusual that Fonzie goes through his entire batting order without putting a run on the board. This is impressive so far for the Thunder defense after giving up 25 to Gateway.
Everything Broad Ripple Atlanta Institute of Technology. Let's thank more of our great sponsors that bring these broadcasts to you on the ISC Sports Network. First, our friends at EverythingBroadRipple.com. Proud sponsor of the Indy Thunder. EverythingBroadRipple.com is your one-stop site for the Broad Ripple Gazette, random ripplings, local news, calendar listings, maps, and local business directories, as well as our Broad Ripple histories, stories, and photos. EverythingBroadRipple.com. And thanks, as always, to the Blind Institute of Technology, where teaching one person with a disability changes the lives of millions. Check out how they are changing the world at blindit.org. So batters 2, 3, and 4, led by Gerald Dykes, due up this time through for the Indy Thunder. Followed by Aaron C. and Kyle Lewis.
We had mentioned earlier the Thunder championships from 2016 to 2021, 5 in a row. Probably would have been 6 if it hadn't been for the 2020 cancellation of the World Series. Gerald Dicus was a big part of all of those. Started in every one of their championship games and was one of the players that stuck around through the rebuild. And he's about as fast as any player in the league. Him and Mark Morris would have a good race to see who the fastest is. I don't know that it gets much quicker than them. 5 seconds to the base.
Ground ball, left side, fair ball, past the 40-foot line. Flores to grab it, out.
Oh, he gunned him though. Flores, nice play, but look at Dicus fly to that base. Man. Oh, to be young and fast.
Leadoff batter retired for the first time. Again, the split-by-split box replay. And Richie had it and got it right. Great job by our umpire.
And unlike traditional baseball and softball, if there is, and some would say there's no such thing as a tie, but if the umpire cannot determine which happened first, it's the opposite in this sport. The tie is supposed to go to the fielder. But that was clearly, I think, that was an out.
And again, we do have the ability. Umpire can come back and check the replay. We have a monitor right behind home plate.
And they love that. I was talking to our head umpire, Jason Price, or umpire-in-chief, if you will, after last year's game, and he just loved that ability to go back and review the close ones.
So we're showing the replay here again.
Yep.
And
stick with the call.
Jordan was literally watching the same replay that you are watching at home, and she got it right. But wonderful we have that technology to assist our umpiring crew. And we talked about teams from across the country. How many umpires do we have, Dave, across the country that work these tournaments?
We like to try to have 2 for each field. So as far as NBBA certified umpires, and that'd be a better question probably for Jason Price, but I'd say mid-teens. I think we've got 6 or 7 of them here this weekend. Darnell Booker really tries to bring the best out.
Aaron C. lost this one. Left side, hops past a fielder, and I think Aaron scores the run on that one. Let's double check and make sure. Here's the side-by-side replay. Simpson has been very busy out there as the deep fielder for Bayou City. And yes, safe. So his first run of the day. Runs in both innings so far now for the Indy Thunder. So we have a pinch hitter here. This was in Lewis's spot in the lineup.
Let's see. Is that Joel Talby, maybe?
Wearing number 2 for the Thunder. This one hammered. Left side. Fielder's lining it up, and I believe you're correct, sir.
That is Joel Talby. Technically a rookie. He played a couple years with the Edge, but never at the World Series. For league purposes, considered a rookie. Another one of the top ones on the board. That was a good base run by him. Base running can be sometimes be the hardest thing for a new player or a newer player to get the hang of. Man, because once you leave that box, you are on your own with your ears and that buzzing sound. And that can be tough, especially for some of the players that have a little bit of usable vision, that all of a sudden are under the blindfold and they see nothing and they've got to run to that base. It can be daunting.
I think they did call that an out, Dave.
Oh.
Correct.
She changed the call? Okay.
So it was close. It was
Boy,
very close.
We've had 3 close plays in this inning already.
Swing and a miss.
You can hear the wind start to pick up a little bit in our field, Mike.
Swing and a miss. Second strike for Coughlin. Cox awaits on deck if it gets to him. Thunder sent 7 to the plate in the home half of the first. This is batter number 4 of the inning. That was a pass. There was the take.
And again, with 2 strikes, that seems to be a routine thing for the Thunder. With 2 strikes, they'll take 1. Now he's got a swing.
Ground ball.
That's not going to make it.
And it will not pass the 40-foot line. Nestled right on the fair foul line, but did not cross the 40-foot mark.
That's as close to a baseball bunt as you're going to see, is where they can get it right over the 40-foot line and close to the foul line into what we call a coffin corner.
Does that count, right? 0-2 outs.
0-3, 2 outs. So 3 strikes, and again you heard full count because the pass has been taken. Swing and a miss, and that is the end of the inning. So through 2 here in Indianapolis, Thunder have a 5-0 lead over the Bayou City Heat. We're back in a moment as you're watching this Beat Baseball Bonanza on the ISC Sports Network.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Now, one of the great sponsors of this event is our friends at the Shop Indy. Thanks to Alex and Brian, everybody involved at the Shop. The Shop has locations now, a new downtown location on Mass Ave, just east of College. The Broad Ripple store that has been there seemingly forever, not to mention Carmel as well, but it's always available for you at theshopindy.com. They've got the pulse of sports fans and just pop culture, all things Indianapolis. You'll find it at theshopindy.com. And thanks to our friends at Kane & Abel Orientation Mobility Services. Take a person's arm, they'll lead you around the block. Give a person a cane, and it will lead you around the world. Greg Rakestraw, Dave Benny, 5-0. Indy Thunder have a lead through 2 innings. Dave, your thoughts as to what we have seen and heard so far in this one?
Well, the Heat have gone once through their batting order, and they haven't scored any runs yet. They had a good defensive inning there, only gave up 1 to the Thunder. But now's the top of the Bayou City order. They need to start putting some runs on the board because the Thunder have the last at-bats. They are at home, and you don't want to lose contact with them out here.
And to give you an idea, the last game, 25-18 through 6 innings. This one 5-0 after 2. Here's Gears. Contact made in the field, but recorded as an out. Swings and misses at a ball that was low and away from the powerful right-hander.
When Gears and Fonzie are connecting, that ball goes high, hard, and a lot of times up the middle or middle left. He gets a lot of balls in the air because he's got that golf swing.
And he just lifted that one towards the right field area, chasing it down the edge of the 170 line, and runner safe.
That's even tougher because he went opposite field, didn't he, Greg?
He did.
And a lot of times when you've got a power hitter that's a righty and he goes to opposite field in the air, the ball's got some spin on it, of course. I mean, just like baseball. And so when it lands, it's hard enough when it's in the air for that long to make the play. But then when it lands, a lot of times it'll kick, and it'll bounce unpredictably. So that's a good beat ball hit right there.
So here's Finn. First hit / run of the game for Bayou City. Finn to get it out in the field of play his last time up. Contact made up the middle. Fielder dives the opposite way. Finn hustling towards the bag and safe.
All right, that's a good start for the Heat. 2 in a row to start the third. And it's a 3-run game now. And, you know, just like Jared and the Thunder, Fonzie and the Heat can put runs on the board in a hurry.
An easy base hit for Mr. Finn. Now here's Simpson, who has been the busiest player in the field So far in this contest, he has seemingly been a magnet.
Well, welcome, rookie. Jared's good enough. He's accurate enough that he can place the ball and he can try to hit to a certain part of the field. It wouldn't surprise me if they're not tested out Grant Simpson a little bit.
A little readjustment of the hands on the bat here for Simpson.
The Heat have played in 2 tournaments this year. They played in Oklahoma in April, and then there was a tournament in San Antonio, the Texas Regionals, last month. They finished 2nd in Oklahoma and won the Texas Regional.
Lofted, past the 40-foot line, just nestles there perfectly. Coughlin trying to chase it and won't get there in time.
Great beat ball hit, and Coughlin's one of the best short defenders that you're going to see in the league. But that was nice speed, and again, if you can just dink a ball in there and win the race to the bag, that's as good as hitting it 150 feet in the air.
Simpson also did something that, again, because we have rarely had to deal with rain in this tournament over the years, he actually kind of dove to the bag early, knowing he would slide a bit farther on the slightly wet grass, and his physics gamble paid off. So here's Prince. Ground ball, left side. Jeffries bounces off of him, and
he's got speed. Oh, he got him. All right, he's got him. Zion's got some foot speed, but man, Cody's really solid.
Dave,
really
you will note that the 3 runs so far for Bayou City have been when they have not hit the ball to Cody Jeffries.
Yep. And so, maybe Fonzie will try to do that. Although, remember, some of these players are players that he hasn't worked with as much because they are coming over for this tournament borrowed from other teams. But this is good now. So there's good contact, and it looks like they're starting to dial it in a little bit.
Esterhaus at the plate. Again, outmade last time up. The ball hit towards Cody Jeffries that he was able to gobble up. So far of the 7 outs, 5 in the field of play, 2 strikeouts for Bayou City. Swing and a miss. Contact made, left side, lofted, deep, lined up, and out.
A nice play out there in the outfield.
And that is the designated fielder for the Indy Thunder.
Adam Rodenbeck, the veteran. He's been doing it for 20 years, and he was also a big part of the championship teams for the Thunder.
So 2 away. Flores at the plate. Flores and out in the field last time up. But Bayou City is now clawed back against this Indy Thunder squad. 5-3 our score here at the top of the 3rd.
Be key if Flores could turn the order here.
Lifted, left side. 1 hop, 2 hop to the left of Aaron C. and Aaron C.
That's a run, I think. They're celebrating on a Bayou City side. He scored.
Yep, correct.
That's big. Now you got the tying run coming up with Tanner Gears, who's their top scorer.
Side-by-side replay. C had kicked it, but again, well called. Got the bag, absolutely, before Aaron lifted it up off the ground. 4-run inning for Bayou City. Most valuable member of our broadcast crew today is our replay operator. That gives you those looks, that gives you no doubt as to whether that was a run or not.
Yeah, especially so far in this game because there's been several close plays.
Here's Gears. Got the offense started this inning with a fly ball lifted to the right side. Swing and a miss. Just how much strategy is there pitcher and hitter as to where the hitter exactly wants that ball placed, Dave?
Well, that's on the pitcher. The hitter is just supposed to swing regular, and the pitcher is supposed to dictate where and how it goes.
Again, golfed, straight up, around Coughlin. Coughlin going to get there? No. Safe.
I mean, that's been the strategy with Fonzie and Tanner Gears for years. It doesn't really matter where on the field it goes, as long as he puts it on top of that bat with that golf swing. He can hang it up in the air for 4 seconds, and then you've got maybe a second from the time that ball hits the ground to make the play or he's at the base. You can't field the ball when it's in the air. Fonzie knows that. So you can give your player a nice little head start down to the base by getting a hanging fly ball like that. Tanner's been doing that for years.
So Gears the first player to have 2 runs in the same inning in today's game.
Look at that. They've tied it up at 5 here.
So 8th batter to the plate this inning. Finn due up next. And Finn a run his last time up as well. Swing and a miss. First strike. Ground ball up the middle. Clears the 40-foot line. Cody Jeffries charges and couldn't get it.
Not this time.
And it's the first time I've seen a player kind of wipe their hand after trying to get a ball and missing. Maybe the first time we've seen a wet ball affect today's game.
Yeah, and the more moisture you get, the more wet the field gets, the more you're going to see that. And I mean, what you tell your players is 2 hands on the ball, pick it up under control, and try to keep your footing if you can.
Here's Simpson, who scored the last time up. So after the first 6 batters were retired as outs, 6 runs and 8 batters to the plate this inning, and here comes number 9. Light showers at times. It's going to stay cloudy and in the 60s for the rest of the afternoon. Not exactly our typical weather for June 1st here in Indianapolis.
No.
Swing and a miss.
No, although next weekend they're going to be up in the suburbs of Chicago, and I can tell you from being there for 20 years, that is very unpredictable. We've had everything from heat to 50 degrees and raining up there.
Ground ball that is shy of the 40-foot mark. Didn't get back to the pitcher's spot at Fonzie. So 2 strikes. Hasn't taken a pass yet. Get a little tutorial here in terms of working on the grip. And again, Dave, this is one of the younger players for the Bayou City lineup.
Yes. And so they're going to work with him on the little intricacies. Setting up in the box, where to hold the hands on the bat, and some of it's comfort level.
I'm going to sneak in a big and small pause read here. Our broadcast brought to us today by our friends at Big and Small Paws 317, offering dog training and boarding, free dog training consultations, and in-house private training with payment plans available. Plus, there's ADA training, group training sessions, and dog boarding packages. Call 317-603-2292 for more information. Simpson swings and sends this one towards the right side. Diving effort past Coughlin. Cox couldn't get there in time. Runner is safe.
Boy, the Heat are a streaky team, and they're on a streak here in the 3rd inning. But they want to keep adding runs because the Thunder have the hammer, as we say. They are the home team, so they'll have the last at-bats in this game. So the more runs you can pile up and put pressure on Jared and the Thunder offense, the better.
So batters 1, 2, and 3 have both scored twice in the inning for the Heat. Now Zion Prince to the plate. He is 0 for 2 today. He and Esterhausen were looking for their first run of the afternoon. Contact made, ground ball left side, clears the 40-foot line. Jeffries dives the opposite way. Can he get there in time? No.
Ooh. Sometimes you only get one chance, and if your first instinct takes you the wrong direction, it's kind of hard to recover. Decent speed from Zion Prince, too. And now the Thunder are looking for an out here. You don't want to one of these next two because you don't want this thing to flip over again. Like you said, the top three in the Heat batting order have been red hot.
First team to put 4 consecutive runs together here in this game. And our score is 8-5 in the top of the third. Dave, if I said, give me an average beat baseball score these days, what would it be?
I wish I could give you a good answer, but it depends on so many things. Length of the grass, the teams that are playing. On these fields with competitive teams, say high teens to 20. The score of that Archers Thunder game was a little bit higher than what I would expect. It was kind of a slugfest. I'd say first team to 15 wins this game.
So 8 in a row now for Bayou City.
But it really does depend. We had an 8-7 World Championship game in 2021. That was the Corey White walk-off. And that was Jets and Thunder were two of top hitting teams. They just were playing defense that day.
Swing and a miss at the letter-high fastball. Westerhausen 0 for 2. Swing and a miss. 2 strikes. And you referenced this, Dave. It's not uncommon for players to live in one city and play for another town's team in this sport, correct?
Correct. We have, a limited number of teams, and we've got a lot of people around the country that want to play.
Ground ball left side. Jeffries dives. It hits him. Can he get there in time? Out.
No way.
Ooh, they're going to challenge this one. Fonzie didn't like that call. Well, nope. There it's going to.
So Jeffries able to make the defensive play. We'll have the side-by-side replay.
Yeah, I'd be interested because I heard both at about the same time through my headset.
Jeffries had it. Absolutely. Proper call was made. That is the end of the inning.
Jordan Simpson's on a roll there. She's 3 for 3 on these close calls here, I think, today.
11 batters come to the plate, 8 score in Bayou City. Jumps in front 8-5 as the rain starts to pick up a little bit more. Today's broadcast made possible by Comfort Care Home Care. I want you to know that their focus is to help clients live their best life possible. They're a premier non-medical home care company committed to their clients with full risk dementia care, inclusive ally and veterans programs. This Comfort Care South Indy office won the 2023 Franchise of the Year. And they're a proud supporter of the Indy Thunder. Let's also thank our friends at the Shop Indy. Because a lot of our local viewers know, I am fortunate to work with the Indy 11. In fact, I'll have the Indy 11 game tonight against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds at 7 o'clock. Who is the gear provider for the Indy 11? That would be the Shop Indy at shop.indy11.com. Whether it's Indiana State gear, Indiana Fever gear, you name the team, the Shop's got you covered. The shopindy.com always has more. So the Thunder trail for the first time, and as you can tell, rain is picking up. You heard it on the microphone, so that's obviously an issue for the players. Just how big of an issue is the sound of the rain for these athletes, Dave?
Well, it can be an issue. If it's raining too hard, of course, it's going to make it tough to hear the ball. It's going to make it tough to hear the bases. I would say it tends to be a little bit harder on the defense than the batter because you've got 6 players out there that are all trying to play by sound. And so, anything can make a difference. Rain, wind, traffic noise, noise from another field.
Ground ball up the middle. Axel Cox, the batter. One fielder tries to get to it in time and will be safe. And several players, led by Richie Flores and then Finn, had a chance to grab it, but again, the wet ball made it harder to snag. Run for the Thunder.
Yeah, you may see more runs on ground balls now if the field's getting sloppy and it's raining, and that may be what you're seeing here. Although I take nothing away from what the Bayou City Heat did in the top of this inning. That was a big inning for them. But now here come the Thunder right back, and yeah, this may turn into a little bit more high scoring than it would ordinarily be, just because of the conditions. But the rain can also slow the ball down. Whereas if you have a fast, dry field, it gets through there a lot faster. So maybe a little double-edged sword because you got a little bit more reaction time on ground balls if they're rolling through a wet grass.
So Cody Jeffries. I think we have an issue with the first base buzzer.
And these are hardwired bases still. We're still using 1976 technology, although they are working with trying to fashion wireless bases. But if a cord gets unplugged or something like that, then they have to either play with it a little bit or they've got to change bases. I don't think they're going to have to switch out a base, though. I think it just was disconnected. Yep, here we go.
Swing and a miss by Jeffries. This is his third plate appearance of the game. Scored back in the first and was the last out of the first inning. He did not come to bat last inning. Foul ball. And again, we'll apologize for the rustling that you hear, but unfortunately it's kind of a necessary evil. We have to have cameras bagged because of the rain conditions, so that's some of the background noise that you hear in the broadcast today. Jeffries will take a pass here. So there's his one pass. 2 strikes and 1 pass. Has to swing at this offering.
And that's what we talked about earlier. When they get to 2 strikes, no matter who it is, they take the third.
So there is strike 3. Cody has 1 more swing left. And obviously you can tell rain starting to come down with a bit more intensity. Contact made, left side. Past one fielder, diving effort. Esterhausen has it lined up. And the out made.
Oh my, Esterhazen. I believe, was that Jason Esterhazen
Correct.
on the play? Boy, and games like this are going to make him better. You know, the problem is we don't have, the teams in beat ball aren't distributed equally across the country. And so when you play out in California, you have a limited opportunity because we just don't have that many teams out west. So for the Jason Esterhazens of the world, good players that just don't get a whole lot of reps, just making a play like that and lining it up against a good team like this is going to make him better. Good play by Jason. I'm glad, you don't always get to play in high-profile games like this.
Dicus, ground ball, left side. Fair ball, Flores chases, Simpson chases, batter safe. A perfectly placed ground ball by Dicus, his second run of the game.
Yeah, Dicus doesn't like ground balls, but he'll take that one. With this rain coming down, they'll take it any way they can get it. 4 innings is an official game in beat baseball, so if they do have to, heaven forbid, call it off, they need to get through 4 innings.
And everybody plays 1 game tomorrow, and then flights kick in. 15 players have to get back to their various towns, various jobs, responsibilities, etc.
Correct. And all 8 teams will play for placement tomorrow. There'll be a 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th place game.
Aaron C., ground ball.
It's a late base. Well, if it had been in fair play, he had been out. He would have had an argument for that.
Well, let me also ask you this, Dave. If it makes contact with the pitcher, is that a dead ball?
That is a dead ball.
So that's what happened there.
Okay,
that just nicked Jared Woodard on the way by.
So, yes, if it makes contact with the pitcher, that's a dead ball. And that is a new pitch, not a new count.
There's a reason why Jared's wearing a helmet these days, which when he did not in years gone by. He took a pretty vicious hit last year.
2 years ago in 2022 at this very tournament in the placement game on Sunday morning, he took a line drive from Adam Rodenbrag and fractured his jaw and was out for about a month. Made it back for the World Series, but they weren't the same team after that.
Swing and a miss. The Edge won the World Series that year, won that tournament that year as well.
Convincingly, and then the Edge won last year, but it was a little tougher for him.
Swing and a miss by Aaron C. on the outer half offering.
In fact, this Thunder team placed third at the World Series last year in Norman, Oklahoma. But let me tell you, they were a few bounces this way or that from playing in the championship game again.
There's the pass.
It didn't take them long to rebuild. It took them 1 year. 3 of the last 4 winners bracket games at the World Series last year were decided by 1 run.
So third strike. The pass has already been taken. And foul ball.
Just got a piece of it. Yeah, that was about as dramatic a World Series as I've seen in a while last year with the way some of those games ended.
Ground ball up the middle. Flores diving for it, couldn't corral it. Out. Flores got there in time. C couldn't get to the bag in time, and there's 2 down. Here's our box-to-box replay.
Flores had to make a recovery.
Proper call made, 2 down. Just 1 or 2 strikeouts so far for the Indy Thunder. All of their outs have been in play. Same for Bayou City.
And that's about par for the course. Jared and Fonzie are both like upper 80s, 90% contact generally. In fact, Jared's been above 90% the last couple years, which is out of this world.
And this is our pinch hitter that replaced Lewis in the lineup the last time through.
Joel Talby. He's got a good stick. He's still trying to figure out the defense and maybe the base running a little bit, but he's got a good stick. And he played a lot of baseball before losing his eyesight.
Talby, ground ball, right side, just clears the 40-foot line, and Gear's trying to get there.
He beat it out.
Safe.
I think Talby's safe. There you go.
We're tied at 8. Again, the side-by-side replay. Gears had a beat on it, just could not get there in time, and Talby got the bag before the ball was lifted off the ground. So he's 2 for 2 with 2 runs.
Now a chance for the new kids in town, as if you will, Mike Coughlin and Axel Cox here. See if they can give the Thunder the lead back.
Coughlin struck out his last time up.
See, that's a base check. Check, make sure the bases are in working order and the batter can hear them before the sequence.
Foul ball. First strike. Coughlin running the first inning and struck out to end the second.
Coughlin's played for several teams, all pretty good teams. I remember him with the Colorado Storm back when they were a team. The Philly Fire, the New Jersey Titans, most recently the Bayou City Heat.
Swing and a miss, second strike.
Coughlin actually played for Fonzie for, well, last year for sure, and the year before. He played 2 years there. Coughlin is from Pennsylvania. He's from the Philly area originally.
Lifted, foul ball. He's got 1 pass available, 1 strike remaining. Swing and a miss. That is the end of the inning. So we are tied at 8, and we have played 3. We are back to a soggy Indianapolis when we return on the ISC Sports Network.
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half.
Throw it up for Tillman.
Whoa, my goodness.
122.60 for Penn. What a swim. 6 of them.
Today's coverage of the Beat Bowl Bonanza in Indianapolis, presented in part by Bright Ideas, your logo and everything under the sun. Now located at 9855 Cross Point Boulevard, Suite 116 in Indianapolis. And by Blind Institute of Technology, where teaching one person with a disability changes the lives of millions. Check out how they are changing the world at blindit.org. Greg Rakestraw, David Benny with you. And again, rain coming down. We knew this was going to happen at some point in time. We basically have gotten 2.5 games in for all of these teams today.
And halfway through the game, we are right back where we started, 8-8. Nothing's been decided, so it's basically a 3-inning game now. I think this is a little bit closer than maybe some people might have predicted, just because the Thunder are playing in their home tournament where they're very tough to beat, and the Heat have some players in for the first time playing with them here at this tournament. But they've that top of the 3rd inning was huge to get them back in the game. They scored all 8 of their runs in that inning.
This is one of 4 games that are taking place simultaneously. We cannot thank enough Andy Elkins and the folks at North Central High School that have been the host of this event for so many years. And as you can probably see around us, there's just a bit of construction that's going on around here, and seemingly has been for the last couple of years. They're about in the final stages of it. Next time we'll be back here will be for high school football coming up on the 3rd week of the season on September the 6th. North Central plays host to Warren Central. So Flores will lead this inning off after 11 Bayou City Heat players came to the plate in the 3rd. Swing and a miss. And as you can simply hear, this is the steadiest the rain has come down during this game. We have been playing since 7:30 this morning in various games, and again, this is about as early as we could move games up today. Ground ball, left side. Cody Jeffries has it.
No chance for Flores there. Jeffrey's solid defensive play continues. And boy, yeah, you know, the folks at North Central, Andy Elkins and the folks, they've been really good to us as hosts here for several years. Prior to that, for a couple years, we were at Ben Davis and playing at their complex down on Girls School Road. And before that, for a while there, we were playing up at Broad Ripple Park. So we were sort of nomads for a while, but it seems like we found a home here at North Central.
So here's Gears. Scored twice last inning.
It's important for Bayou City to keep scoring as the visiting team. The Thunder have the capacity to erupt at any time.
Swing and a miss. Back-to-back lofted hits his last 2 times through. Foul ball. 2nd strike. If I ask you for memories of beat ball in the rain, what games, what tournaments come back to your mind?
Oh, the 2007 championship game between West Coast and the Kansas All-Stars. I wasn't, of course, playing in that game. I was with the Thunder at the time, but it was blowing and raining, and it must have been 55 degrees.
Safe.
That's a run.
Ground ball nestled inside of the fair line. Jeffries and C could not combine to track it down. And Bayou City in front, and Gears as a run for a 3rd consecutive plate appearance.
Didn't mean to talk through that play there, but that's probably the worst. Now, we were in Bolingbrook last year up in the suburbs of Chicago. They have their tournament on the 2nd weekend of June, and the championship game that Sunday morning was similar. It was in the 50s. I was calling that game. My play-by-play had her teeth were chattering the entire game, and then somebody in the 3rd inning brought us some hot chocolate, and it was about the best hot cocoa I'd ever had in my life. We've played through some pretty heavy rain, unless it gets to the point where the umpire judges that safety's an issue.
Lifted by Finn. Just past the 40-foot line, diving effort. Doesn't get there in time, safe. 3rd consecutive run for Finn.
So here you go, the top part of the Bayou City order doing damage again. Gears, Finn, and now you've got Simpson coming up.
Simpson scored twice last time through. Well, this is Prince in the lineup here. They might be out of order here.
Wow. There is a rule for that. Let's see if...
Yeah, I think they realized before the pitch.
All right.
Prince is due up next.
Yep. Yeah, now if they throw that pitch and he puts it in play...
They wisely...
The Thunder can call him on it. Yep, Fonzie caught that. It's good. Had me checking my card a little bit here to make sure we were in the right spot. But this should be the third spot in the batting order. 1 out, 2 in. He's getting his base checked, make sure the bases are functional and that he can hear them before the first pitch.
That will not clear the 40-foot line. Both pitchers have towels that are a necessity in today's game.
Yeah, you need that. And it's not just for the ball. You know, one of the important things is you got to keep the bat handles. You got to keep those bats dry, too. Because there is a new rule now. If you lose control of a bat, you throw it, it goes over 20 feet, you're out.
Another foul ball, ground ball in front of home plate.
And we had that happen twice in the championship game between Bayou City and Gateway in Oklahoma, where a bat, because the fields were wet from the rain the night before, where people lost control of the bat. Now, that's an out. They're trying to cut down on the danger aspect of a bat going flying out of somebody's hands into the field of play with a bunch of people who can't see out there.
Ground ball, foul ball. That's the third strike.
So pitchers are keeping their hands dry. They're trying to, the good teams, with good volunteer support on the bench, they're trying to keep bats dry, hands dry, and things of that nature. And there's certain batting gloves you don't want to wear in the rain. I mean, I don't.
Foul ball. We'll do it again. Swing and a miss.
It's a rare strikeout. There's been a lot of contact in this game, and I think that's why, even though we've had, with the number of runs we've had scored already, the game's actually been moving on at a pretty good clip.
All right, let's talk about tricks of the trade, because before I could verbalize a strikeout, you called it. Was it the lack of the sound of the bat is what told you that was going to be a strikeout?
Number one, that was the first, but sometimes you can be fooled and there's a foul tip and you just don't hear it. But with your wonderful field mic, is able to hear the umpire's call.
So 2 outs.
That's my second cue, is the umpire calling it a strikeout.
Here's Prince in his proper spot. He's 1 for 3 today, scored his last time up. Does have 1 strikeout. Well, that previous strikeout was the 3rd for a Bayou City player. First since the 2nd inning. 2 strikes here. Swing and a miss. Third
He's
strike.
going deeper into counts now with some of these hitters. And remember, this is their 3rd game of ball, So as you get later in the day, swings can start changing.
Ground ball past the 40-foot line. Diving effort. Cody Jeffries has it. And that's an out.
Cody's stuffing some stats on defense today, and they seem to they have more success when they hit away from him than they do when they hit it to him.
2 runs, though, for the Bayou City Heat. As you'll watch the replay of Jeffries gobbling up another ball. No doubt about that one. And Prince able to let up. Does take a tumble on the slick grass after he got to the back. But Bayou City takes a 10-8 lead to the home half of the 4th inning as the rain continues to come down. This broadcast presented in part by our friends at everythingbroadripple.com. Proud sponsor of the Indy Thunder. EverythingBroadRipple.com is your one-stop site for the Broad Ripple Gazette, random ripplings, local news, calendar listings, maps, local business directory, as well as all of our Broad Ripple history stories and photos. And thanks to our friends at Tito's. Love Tito's, turning spirits into love and goodness.
You know, this is a volunteer sport, Greg, and we could not do any of this without our sponsors. Not only this broadcast, but all of the other things that have been provided for the tournament. A lot of these are donations, and a lot of it comes from fundraising, sponsorships, donors. It's all non-for-profit, and we couldn't do it without y'all. So, I mean, we really appreciate it. I played this game for 20 years, and wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise. Let's see what the Thunder can do now. Boy, Bayou City, he probably wanted a couple more than 2 runs in the top of the 4th. But they're giving the Thunder all they want here. Playing shorthanded even.
So Cox is at the plate. Who are some of the players that aren't able to be here today for Bayou City, Dave?
Well, you talk about Daryl Miner, who's a former league MVP, a power hitter.
This one sent towards the right side, inside out swing. That's in fair territory, and that will be a run.
It's a good start. Cuts the lead to 1. But aside from Daryl Miner, a good-looking rookie, actually the top rookie on my rookie watch list right now, a kid named Noah Finney, who's about 17, 18 years old from down there locally in the Houston area, who can just mash the ball. He's not here this weekend. We saw him in Oklahoma. He actually got a walk-off for him in a game against New Jersey out there. I'm sorry, I would guess it was against Austin that he got his walk-off out there in Oklahoma. But they've got 4 of their regulars. I don't see Lupe he's here, but he's not in the lineup. Lupe Perez, another important part of their team.
Cody Jeffries, 1 for 3 today, and he has been phenomenal defensively. And the game's opening run for the Thunder. Lifted, past the 40-foot line, and will nestle just shy of it. He's safe. That's like getting out your 56-degree wedge and putting it a foot from the hole. We're tied at 10.
Well placed. Yeah, and like you said, kind of like a chip shot up there.
And again, let me state the obvious. Again, this is remedial for some. If that ball hits past the 40-foot line and comes back inside of it, is that a foul ball?
That is a foul ball.
And so literally that ball stopped a foot past the 40-foot line, even with some backspin on it. Here's Dykes.
And that's exactly why when the ball's close to the 40-foot line on a play like that, you'll see the umpire hesitate and wait to call it, lest they call it prematurely.
Lifted, left side, elevated, 1 hop, 2 hop. Esterhausen could not get there in time.
He got to that base in a big hurry, too. Well, there you go. They got those runs back pretty quickly. And that's what the Thunder do. They can score in bunches, and you'll start to see if they start scoring runs and go on one of their vintage runs, you'll see them go up-tempo, what I call our up-tempo version, where as soon as one runner reaches the base, you'll have another one getting set up in the batter's box, and that can really keep a defense back on his heels. The Thunder were the best at doing that. Their Dynasty's team would literally run teams out of games doing it that way.
11 for the Thunder. So first 3 batters have reached for the Thunder. Here's Aaron C. Swing and a miss. Correct, 11. Swing and a miss for C. He is 1 for 3 today. Scored back in the 2nd. This is the 4th trip through the Thunder lineup. First time they have strung 3 consecutive runs together. He'll take here. So 2 strikes and a pass. Target is high. Swing and miss for Aaron. Full count. Full count here, 3-1, 3 strikes, 1 pass. Contact made, right side, fair territory, and safe.
You like that, don't you, Base?
Aaron attacked that base a little bit over there. Boy, he gets every ounce out of it, doesn't he?
Well, that base now knows how ball carriers felt in the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference in Aaron's days of playing football at Franklin College.
Tell you what, I wouldn't want to be a base getting trucked by Aaron C. My goodness.
And again, that one cleared the 170-foot line, but obviously did so on the ground, hence it's still in play to track it down. But make it 4 straight now for the Thunder. And it might take a minute to plug the base back in after Aaron ran through it.
And of course, the home run line acts as sort of an invisible wall, if you will, for balls that are in the air. But of course, if a ball's on the ground, you can chase it back beyond the 170 line. What you can't do is start with your defender beyond that line because you're outside the field of play.
Talby. Ground ball, foul ball. And Lewis had 1 swing in the first. Talby then entered at that point. He is 2 for 2. Swing and a miss. 2 strikes.
Yeah, they've sort of been rotating Talby in. They were rotating him and Coughlin earlier, and then it was him and Lewis.
There's the pass. Swing and a miss. Outruns full. This is the last set of games of the day. Games taking place on 3 other fields. I see some players exiting, so one of the games may have been wrapped up at this point. Sent right side, elevated. Finn, can he get to it in time? And we had 2 fielders bump into each other. Finn and Prince collided, so the batter is safe.
And that can happen sometimes, especially with players that haven't played together very much before. You know, you got to try to talk and communicate, but remember, you've got a team of 6 defenders all trying to act in unison, and they can't see one another. So they have to verbalize, they have to communicate, and I'm not sure what happened there, but 2 players got into each other a little bit. Everybody's okay, I think.
Well, Finn's a little worse for wear. He is still in a seated position.
Finn can cover a lot of ground, and Zion Prince is a young guy. That can be tough there because you just don't know. Some players come farther than others. If Finn can't get to a ball, nobody can get to it. But
both umpires, head coach, spotter are all talking to Mr. Finn as we speak. And there was head-to-head contact there between he and Prince.
No. We don't have a concussion protocol, so to speak, but an umpire at any time can go and check on. I remember I got nailed right above the bridge of the nose. Thankfully, it wasn't on the bridge of the nose by a line drive off the bat of Brandon Chesser. At the time, he was with the Austin Blackhawks, and I was playing shortstop for the Thunder. And I just kept my mask on because I didn't want him to see the blood. It had split my eyebrow, but I didn't take the blindfold off because I didn't want to come out of that game. And needless to say, people were shocked at the end of the inning when we came off the field. You know, and it can happen. This is a tough sport played by some strong, fast people. And just because they don't have eyesight doesn't mean that these aren't conditioned, fit athletes. And so, like any other sport, when you get 2 of them collide, that can happen. Hope Finn's going to be all right.
And it does look like Mike Finn has a little bit of blood coming from his ear. It was kind of a side collision for him, and hence that's the reason we have the momentary delay in action.
He's going to have to come out if they see blood, unfortunately. That's usually how that works.
And
No,
again,
no ball player ever wants to come out of a game. You know that, Greg.
There are spotters in the field. What are they limited as to what they can say and do out there, Dave?
Well, they're supposed to, when the ball is hit, they can call one number indicating a slice or a zone of the field where to give the fielders an indication of where the ball is going. They're not supposed to say anything else. Now, if they see an imminent collision, they can say stop. Now, if they do that, the run is supposed to be awarded.
Correct.
But, you know, as a last resort, they can. In some situations, though, it just happens so fast that you can't get the command out there, or you do get the stop command out there and they can't stop in time. But that is something a spotter's allowed to do. And this would have been a run anyway.
So 5 consecutive runs for the Thunder.
Yeah, this is danger time now for the Heat because the Thunder have the last at-bats, and we're getting on toward the later portions of this game. They really can't afford to give up any more.
There's Coughlin, who struck out the last 2 times up. Contact made this time, but a ground ball that will not clear the 40-foot line. And lands right on the Thunder logo that has been added on this field this year.
That's really cool. I'm not sure that any other tournaments have that, where they have the host team's logo like that. The other games going on right now, you mentioned as we speak, the big one really is the Indy Edge and the Philly Fire. Because they're both 2-0, so they're playing for a spot on the other side of the championship game over in that other bracket. You've also got the gray team from the Indy Thunder. They're a split squad. The gray team is playing the Chicago Comets. They're both 0-2. And then opposite this game in the top of the bracket, you got Cleveland and Gateway.
Gateway's game is done. I've seen most of their teams starting to head past our broadcast location here.
And I think I got a text. Gateway did win that game. I didn't get a final, but Gateway will be in the championship game tomorrow opposite the winner of the Philly Fire and Indy Edge.
Ground ball, and it does get past the 40-foot line. Gears trying to track it down. Can't get there in time. Flores and Gears were inching closer to it, but the ball had completely stopped. Make it 6 consecutive runs now for the Indy Thunder.
Yeah, and I think they smell blood in the water right now. With this rain and now with the Heat down to their last 6 outs and the Thunder are the home team, they're starting to get some separation in this game a little bit. That's not to say the Heat can't make some noise. They scored 8 runs in 1 inning in this game. Problem is, in the other 3 innings, they've only scored 2.
And as you can hear and see, the rain picking up in intensity. Nobody out here. 6 consecutive batters have reached and scored for the Thunder. Here's Axel Cox, who is yet to be retired today. He is the only Thunder player you can say that about. He's the only player in this game you can say that about.
And good for Axel, because in the first 2 games, he was putting everything in play, but it seemed like he was hitting balls right at people over and over again.
Lifted past the 40-foot line, and it will come to a stop. Flores, batter safe.
Not in these conditions. I'll tell you what, in these conditions, you're almost better off dropping one in there short and daring them to try to charge to make the play than trying to hit it right to them or past them. That's very difficult. It's difficult to charge, not only to get started, but also stop when the ground gets wet. Even if you're wearing the plastic cleats, which they are, it's still tough. And the Thunder are really putting the screws on this one here.
15. Here's Jeffries. Right side.
Got by 2 of them.
Yep. It landed in fair territory, then went foul, but did so past the bases. Inside out swing.
This is one of those Thunder runs we were talking about. Now watch how quickly they get that next player up, ready to, so as soon as the umpire puts the ball in play, they're ready to go.
When does this get into run rule territory, Dave?
12 runs at the completion of an inning. If a team is up by 12 runs or more at the completion of a full inning, Then the team that is trailing will use the remainder of their outs until they've either used up those outs, in this case it would be 6 if we get there, or tie or take the lead. If they should tie or take the lead, then the team that was the team ahead on the scoreboard will then get the remainder of their outs until they either win the game or use them up. So, and that's another thing that's being looked at, whether or not there should be more of a conventional mercy rule, like a 12 or 15 after 4-inning deficit, and the game is called. The purpose of the 12-run rule was to continue to encourage participation while not letting games get totally out of hand. I have seen teams hit themselves out of the 12-run rule. It is very rare, but it has been known to happen occasionally. It used to happen more, I think, back in the olden days when the bases were at 90 feet instead of 100, because you had a lot of high-scoring games back then.
Two strikes for Dykes. He is 3 for 4 in today's game. Foul ball, third strike.
Dykes was there for all 5 world championships, and he was a starter on all those championship teams. He usually batted second.
And Dykes strikes out, so first out of the inning.
You don't want to do that as the DH. And Dykes has pretty much been a perennial DH, and he's been very productive for them, but rarely will you see Dykes out there on defense.
And you also pointed this out, too. In 2 more outs, we have reached an official game status because of the rain. As you can hear in the background or see, rain has really picked up in intensity.
Yeah, it's coming down. I haven't heard or noticed any conversations about wanting to call it because of the rain. There's not been any lightning. But yes, once you get through 4, you've got an official game.
Hope that's not needed, but
of course not, because people have to travel so far to get here.
C lifts this one, left side foul ball, second strike.
Of course, they could speed this up a lot by just getting them into the 12-run rule, which we're not there yet, but certainly is a possibility.
Obviously, players have towels with them now, too, to try to maintain contact with the bat. Swing and a miss. Does have a pass left, does Aaron, if he feels the need to use it.
If anybody can operate in these conditions, though, it's Jarrett. Like I said, he was 16 when he pitched that 2007 championship game up in Rochester, Minnesota, in about the worst conditions imaginable.
Lifted, right side, Finn's got it. Can he get there in time? Yes. If I say he's got it, he was lined up right behind it. Being lined up behind it and grabbing the ball are obviously 2 different things. Been able to make the play 2 down.
Well, he's a veteran. He's a solid defensive player, and so he should make that play. But yeah, 2 things can happen. I mean, first, you got to judge it right. If it stops rolling in that wet grass, then you got to come up and try to get it, even if you have it lined up. And 2, even if you're there and you get your hands on it, you got to make sure you pick it up and get it off the ground and under control. It's easy to say from back here. It's another thing when you're out there trying to do it.
Here's Talby. And again, he has not been retired either. Cox in the same boat. Joel's had 1 fewer at-bats in the game today. Lifted, right side, foul ball.
Joel's another one. These at-bats and these reps are going to come in very handy for him. Now, the Thunder, of course, won't be split squad at the World Series. They'll have their full roster. But it's a long, grueling week, and you never know who you're going to need and when. And so the more reps you can get for these folks early in the season, the more it'll help them at the World Series.
Now 3 strikes. Ground ball, right side. Again, Finn has it lined up. Can he get it in time? Yes, batter's out. And so the inning is over. So 8 batters reach consecutively. Are they going to call that a run? Let's see. He may have beaten the play. I thought Finn had him lined up.
I don't know. My first instinct was he was out, but I wonder what your...
He is out.
All right.
He is out, and that is the end of the inning. So, first 8 batters reach for the Thunder. Next to retired as an out. We go to the top of the 5th. 6-run lead for the Indy Thunder. Back to Indy in a moment as you're watching on the ISC Sports Network.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to continue their employment. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to cook meals safely. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
Let's thank these following great sponsors that make our broadcast possible, like Kane and Abel Orientation Mobility Services. Take a person's arm, they'll lead you around the block. Give a person a cane, it'll lead you around the world. And thanks to the Blind Institute of Technology, where teaching one person with a disability changes the lives of millions. Check out how they are changing the world at blindit.org. Esther Hazen will lead things off this time through for the Bayou City Heat. They have 6 outs to make up 6 runs.
Well, both teams have had 8-run innings, so now Bayou City chasing 6, so they've just got to keep scoring. You got to keep hacking away. And in these conditions, as you put the ball in play, anything can happen. You can't have strikeouts, though, because you can't steal first or third base. And so you have a 0 chance of scoring if you don't put it in play. Both teams have done a good job of putting it in play today.
2 runs scored last inning for Bayou City. Esther Hazen, 0 for 3 today. Lifts this one, foul. Off of one of the protective tents that is being used to watch this game in a dry fashion today.
Esther Hazen, originally from South Africa, he moved to the United States and found beat baseball almost immediately. It's unfortunate we don't have any international teams registered this year.
Swing and a miss, second strike.
We had as many as 3. We had Taiwan, of course, and they've won championships. We had a team from Canada, and we had a team from the Dominican. But boy, when COVID-19 happened, that really, we're still trying to bounce back from that on an international level.
Swing and a miss.
But as far as teams in this league, they've got them all the way from California to Boston. In fact, next weekend, you've got a tournament up in the Chicago area, and then the East Coast teams get going later this month in a 2-leg tournament called the Beast of the East, with 1 leg played in on Long Island and another one played in New Jersey.
Swing and a miss. Esther Hazen strikes out. There's 1 away.
That's what you can't have. The outs you have left now down by 6 are precious, and now you've just given 1 up. Now you're down to 5 outs. And with every out, the Thunder get closer to victory.
And Dave, you mentioned that team in Boston. I know that Darnell was part of a group that just did a little teaching and coaching up in the Northeast as far as the sport is concerned.
So
recently.
there are 2 teams in Boston now. There's a new one that just started up, and that's who some of the Thunder went out and worked with out there, called the Boston Strong. And then, of course, you've got the Boston Renegades, who've been around since about the year 2000. That's Coach Rob Weissman's team. And they've been at every World Series except for 1, I think, since 2002. They missed 21, but then they've come back, and they placed 5th. The Renegades did last year at the World Series, so they're one of the elite teams as well. And the Strong are going to be good. They got young players.
Here's Flores, ground ball, does clear the 40-foot line. Jeffries diving for it, out. 2 down.
And the balls aren't rolling out very far with these softer now fields with the rain. So Jeffries was all over it. Boy, the Thunder can really put the clamps on this if they can get gears here and get a 3 up, 3 down.
Gears has scored the last 3 times he's been up. In fact, the top 3 hitters in the order have scored the last 3 times they've been up.
I think given the givens, this has been a very well-played game. It certainly hasn't been as sloppy as I think what they're experiencing out there with the field conditions. I commend both teams. They've handled it well.
And there goes a bat flying.
Well, and see, there you go. That's called broadcaster's jinx right there, because just as I said that, boy, and that's scary. I know.
Yeah, bat unfortunately went well past the 40-foot line.
And if it travels 20 feet, that's an automatic out now. They just implemented that rule last year, and so that's why he's not coming back, even though that was his first swing. He lost control of the bat, and the inning's over. And that's a tough break. That's a tough rule because it never happens intentionally. But as somebody who almost got one a few years ago, I can tell you I'm okay with that rule.
So the inning is over on the 3rd consecutive out. 3rd time now in 5 innings that unfortunately he'd have been retired in order. Let's thank our friends at Comfort Care Home Care. I want you to know that their focus is to help clients live their best life possible. They're a premier non-medical home care company committed to their clients with their fall risk dementia care, inclusive ally and veterans programs. This Comfort Care South Indy office won the 2023 Franchise Office of the Year. They're a proud supporter of Team Indy Thunder. Same can be said for the Shop Indy. In fact, as we're located here next to North Central High School, you're about like 10 minutes away from either a couple of their locations, whether it's the downtown Waterville store or the one that is Carmel. But you can always log on to convenience from your home at theshopindy.com and find their tremendous selection, whether it's your favorite Indiana State gear, Indiana Fever gear, Colts, Pacers, Indy 11, and more. It's all available at theshopindy.com.
You know, it's really unfortunate that Indiana State is losing so many players off of their basketball team to the transfer portal. Just thought I'd mention that while we have a second.
I had a chance to do 6 of their baseball games this spring. They are playing Western Michigan in the NCAA tournament in baseball as we speak.
Wow. All right, nice. I'm hoping to maybe be able to catch some state baseball and softball from the IHSA, Illinois High School Association. The smaller schools are playing as we speak. Championship Saturday there. The bigger schools in Illinois go next weekend.
So insurance run time for the Thunder. Frankly, the run rule almost obsolete at this point with the bottom of the 5th.
Right, even if they do that, Heat will get their three outs anyway, so. But they do want to add on.
Here's Coughlin, 2 for 4, has struck out twice, has scored twice. Swing and a miss.
And this is Coughlin and Cox's first tournament with the Thunder, so regardless of what the score is, Jared wants to make sure that that he's got a good comfort level. Because both Coughlin and Cox are going to be key contributors, I think, in what the Thunder hopes will be another championship run this year. Especially because it doesn't look like the Thunder are going to have Zach Bueller, their standout left fielder, as he may very well be playing Paralympic goalball this year out in Paris. He is on the Team USA, the national team in that other adaptive sport. So they'll miss him, but I mean, of course, that's international competition. Just like in traditional sports, a lot of these are multi-sport athletes. And they're having a base issue, I think, here now. Now it looks like they got it fixed.
The magic touch of Kyle Lewis. I want to thank our ISC Sports Network crew, Vince Morales, J.D. Arlen, Daniel Miller, Dalton Cox, Eldon Wheeler, Rob Lynch, and Wes Wolf. Thank you, fellas, for your great work today.
I will say it is easy to call a game with ISC Sports Network because you got such a great support staff and crew out there.
So Coughlin ready. Lifted, left side, foul ball.
It seems like, has the rain let up a little bit here?
It has,
seems
yes.
like it has, big time.
We will play this one to completion. Cox awaits on deck. Thunder put up 18 in a loss in the game before this one. We will have the championship game, regardless of whom is in it tomorrow, at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Lifted, straight away center field. Past Flores. This should be a run, and it will be. No fielders close to it for the Heat. Coughlin scores for a third time. It's a 7-run lead. A perfectly placed fly ball for Coughlin.
And I am checking to see if I have a score update on the Edge and the Fire. I do not. So we don't know for sure who's going to be in that title game. We know it'll be the Gateway Archers, undefeated on the season. Looking to win their 4th tournament in 4 different states, Gateway would be already. They've been busy. There was a tournament in Las Vegas in March. There was a tournament in Norman, Oklahoma, the same place where we played the World Series last year, in April. And then there were 2 big events in May. There was the Texas Regionals, and then there was the Battle for Illinois, Secretary of State's Cup up in Springfield a couple of weeks ago. And the Archers swept that. These 2 teams I have in my totally unofficial team rankings at this point. I have the Thunder 3 and the Bayou City Heat 4. So I expect them both to be there. And if it is the Edge and the Archers, that will be 1 versus 2 tomorrow.
Ground ball clears the 40-foot line towards the center of the field. Can Simpson get there in time?
Yes, he did. They give him the run there, Greg?
No, it's an out. You got it right.
Oh, okay. It looked like Grant Simpson on the play.
Correct.
He racked up the putouts a little bit at the Texas Regional. That kind of is what put him on the map as a rookie to watch. And I believe, is that his 2nd one here in this game? He's been busy. He's had balls to him. He's had some that he had been just a little bit late on.
So here's Jeffries.
Now, the Thunder's best contact hitter over the last 2 years. In fact, the best contact hitter percentage-wise in beat baseball.
Jeffries 3 for 5 in the game today. Contact made, but foul ball. That sent Jordan scurrying behind the home plate. She has been tremendous.
She has done a great job, you know, and we've had a variety of umpires call this game. I think a couple of times when we've done this game, it's been our head umpire for the NBBA, Jason Price, who trains a lot of these other umpires. But Jordan's done a very good job.
Smacked, left side. Fielder diving for it, won't be able to get there in time. Safe.
As the runs keep coming in for the Thunder. But yeah, Greg, Jordan Simpson's been, I mean, she was pretty much born into the sport, so she's got it in her blood. And so it didn't take her long when she decided she wanted to be an umpire. It didn't take her long to become one of our best. And this is a co-ed sport, so we have, you know, male umpires and female umpires, along with players and pitchers. We've got a couple of, I mean, Molly Fleming is one of the better pitchers in the league for the Austin Blackhawks.
Here's Dykus, struck out last time. He has scored 3 times.
Bottom line is we encourage anybody who wants to give the sport a try to give the sport a try.
Swing and a miss.
Even if you have perfect eyesight, we can still use you. You may not be eligible to play at the World Series because you have to have a level of visual impairment, but boy, spotters, pitchers, and then even behind the scenes, you've got base operators. When that base comes on, somebody's flipping that switch back there every time the ball is pitched.
Foul ball.
There's a toggle switch on that on the base box to operate the bases. And you flip it to the left, it turns on third. You flip it to the right, it turns on first. It's that simple.
Swing and a miss. The Dykes does have a pass if he wants it. On the sleeve of the Indy Thunder uniforms, you may notice that is the Indianapolis Indians logo. Their charitable arm has become much more involved with the Thunder over the years.
And that's wonderful. I wish more major and minor league organizations would get involved with local teams.
Popped up. This will nestle in front of the 40-foot line and is safe. Flores, a great effort to get there, but Dykes using that speed to beat it out and make it 3 runs a setting for the Thunder.
The only way you're faster than Gerald Dykes is if you're in a car. And that was awfully quick to the base again. He's been fast all day. And if he's fast now, and he's just, this is the second tournament for the Thunder, but a lot of their, they only took a select few players to Las Vegas, mostly because of the expense of it and the size of their roster. So for a lot of these players, this is their first real game action of the season.
Here's Aaron C., who was 2 for 5. Swing and a miss. Two strikes. By the way, due up for Bayou City. Finn, Simpson, and Prince in the top of the 6th inning.
He went to 3 strikes on a batter. I don't know that I've seen that in a while. Jared was on quite a roll there for a minute.
Smacked right side. Finn dives the opposite way. Prince couldn't get there in time, and batter safe.
And they are going to check to see if that is a dead ball.
Yeah.
So what the umpire will do is leave the ball where it's at, go and stand over the ball, and if the umpire can hear the ball at all, even if it's just ticking or clicking, it will count. If not, it is a new pitch.
And has Aaron C. been known to kill a ball? Yes.
Oh, yes.
So dead ball is the call. So take away the run for now for the Thunder.
And he doesn't get a new count. So through no fault of his, other than a good hit, he kills the ball, and he's got to come all the way back up with 3 strikes. And if anybody out there who follows beat baseball wants to change that rule back to what it was before, rules@nbba.org. You can tell where I stand on that. That should be a new count, in my opinion. That's an equipment malfunction. And it disadvantages, in that situation, I'd say the hitter, because he would have scored a run.
Rain has stopped temporarily, thankfully. 5th batter of the inning for the Thunder. Smacks this one. Left side, knocked into a fielder, and Simpson got it.
Oh, he got him. That's a good play by the rookie.
Solid contact by C, but again, just unfortunately hit it directly at one of the deep fielders. Great job by our crew to show you. That was the second out of the inning.
And that's bad luck, too. You know, there's some luck involved. We saw that with Kyle Lewis in the first game this morning. He hit 2 balls in the same at-bat that would have likely been runs, almost certainly, and they both resulted in dead balls. Then he come up and hit a ground ball and was put out. So just can't hope that except to, you know, hopefully do what we can to make sure the balls are as sturdy as possible.
Talby's spot in the lineup that's due up. Let's see if it'll be him or maybe somebody else going to get an opportunity here.
I wonder if they'll put in Jordan Flatt, their rookie, the one rookie that they have, true rookie. I mean, Talby's played before, just not at the World Series.
It will be Talby.
It will be Talby. Okay.
Talby was retired as an out his last time up. Only time that's happened in 4 plate appearances. Swing and a miss. Foul ball. Sent right side, elevated, in fair territory. Gears should have it. Can he get there in time? Yes. So 3 runs tacked on by the Thunder. The Bayou City Heat have 3 outs to get 9 to keep this game going. We'll let this defensive play take you to break as you're watching the Beat Ball Bonanza here on the ISC Sports Network.
Living up to that last name. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. So that was going to be a highlight reel. Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
Our coverage from Indianapolis presented in part by Simplified Insurance Solutions, health insurance experts offering Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans, prescription drug plans, dental, vision, hearing coverage. Located in Lawrence, call Latrice Jeter at 888-340-7633. And by everythingbroadripple.com, your one-stop site for Broad Ripple Gazette, random ripplings, local news, calendar listings, maps, local business directories, and Broad Ripple history, stories, and photos. Everythingbroadripple.com. Alongside Dave Benning, Greg Rakestraw with you. Finn, Simpson, and Prince, the trio of batters due up. Bayou City with 8 runs in the third, just 2 in the other 5 or the other 4 innings. Finn, ground ball, left side, diving effort. Cox, can he get back to it in time? Yes, out, 1 down.
Nice play by Axel Cox. I mean, he's an athlete. He knows how to use he knows how to get his body in position and then repositioned. He's always been really flexible and sort of dexterous. So, wow, that was all-star on all-star there with Finn and Cox. They were teammates actually for a couple years with the Austin Blackhawks and won a couple of championships together about a decade ago.
5th time in 6 innings, the leadoff man has been retired for the Bayou City Heat.
Can you check first, please?
I think we have a first base bag issue. Let's thank our friends at Tito's. Love Tito's, turning spirits into love and goodness.
A Thunder win, if they can hang on, retire these last 2 batters, would bring their record for today to 2-1 and 4-2 on the season, with both losses coming at the hands of the Gateway Archers.
Simpson scored his last 2 times up, struck out the time before that. We're still having a technical issue here.
You had mentioned earlier the Indianapolis Indians and their involvement with the Indy Thunder, and there's a few teams around the country that have that sort of partnership with either a major or minor league baseball team. I know the St. Louis Cardinals help out the Gateway Archers a little bit for many years. Cubs Care and the McCormick Foundation, before they sold the Chicago Cubs, were a big part of the Chicago Comets sponsorship. And the Renegades and Boston Strong, you were mentioning those two teams from Boston, they just played out at Fenway Park not too long ago.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. How'd you like to play? Man, I'm a little jealous. Now, we did get to do a demo at the old Metrodome back in 2007. I was a part of that, but man, I'd love to play at Fenway.
2 strikes. Sent, middle of the field. Can Cox line it up again, diving for it? Safe. Got to the ball, but could not lift it in time. Simpson has a run for the Heat. His third of the day.
He's having a good game. Both sides of the ball. He hasn't gotten everything that's been hit at him, but nobody has. But he has sort of kept his team in the game. Him and Finn, I would say, have been the big two there.
So here's Prince, who is 1 for 4. That collision with Finn in the field. Part of that big 4th run inning that the Thunder put together. Contact made, right side. This should be a base hit and a run. And it will be.
Hit it where they ain't.
Inside out swing that had fielders going the opposite direction for the Thunder. And once the diving effort was made in the wrong direction, made that relatively easy for Prince to tack on a run of the Heat to the Bayou City Heat total.
No quit in Fonzie Medrano and his hitters. You know, they know they've scored 8 runs in 1 inning in this game already today. So if they can do a little bit better than that, maybe they can force the Thunder back into a situation at the bottom of the 6th, but they've still got a ways to go.
Here's Esterhazen. Esterhazen 0 for 4 today. Contact made, but a foul ball.
They're going to talk about this because I think they're off by 1 on the outs.
Correct.
I think there's 1 out in this inning.
And 1 out is the correct total there.
There you
and
go.
Everybody agrees on that. Yep.
Sometimes you've got to consult with the scorer.
Everybody's a bit waterlogged at this point, understandably so. Except for Dave and I, we've been broadcasting from a garage the entire time.
No, we're very spoiled under here.
Esterhazen, solid contact, right side. It will stay in fair territory. Can Conklin get there? It was close.
Both sides reacted a little bit like it had gone their way. Hold on, I think we're going to talk about this one too.
I'm sure we'll get a look at it momentarily. Esterhazen going for his first base hit of the day.
Remember, it has to be off the ground, under control, and away from the body. Those are the 3 elements of possession.
Safe, I would think. I think the replay monitors, again, dealing with some of our conditions as well. And we'll check to make sure that that gets taken care of.
Again, though, I think for what they've had to deal with here, with rain almost throughout, this has been a well-played game. And I'll tell you what, if it does end up being the Edge and the Archers tomorrow morning, get ready for some fireworks. because you're going to see basically an all-star game of sorts with the players that both sides have. And you're going to see some former Edge that are now Archers playing against their comrades who they won a couple rings with. So, you know, the Philly Fire finished 4th at the World Series last year, but they didn't bring two of their starters to this tournament, so they're a little bit down. Still playing well, but boy, I think an Edge Archers game, if the Archers play to the level that they did earlier today against the Thunder, that'd be phenomenal. And those teams know that, you know, the winner of this tournament, because the top 4 or 5 teams are all here, the winner of this tournament is liable to be the presumptive #1 team going into the World Series. That's not guaranteed. There is a seeding process, and there's a committee, and teams get to vote on that sort of thing. But at least in the court of public opinion, I think the winner of this tournament will be the team that with the target on their back going forward. I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite this year. There was last year. It was the Edge.
The safe is the call.
And there you go. So as you said, it ended up the call ended up being safe there.
Simply a matter of making sure the monitor was working so Jordan could take a look at it. And once we got that taken care of, pretty easy call to make. So Flores at the plate again. 2 outs to score 6, or this game is over. 5th batter of the inning.
They'd like to get these 2 right here. I don't think they want to see Gears and Finn again.
Flores, ground ball. It does pass the 40-foot line. Jeffries hustling for it. He's safe.
Jeffries, I think, got that put out. Maybe I'm confused because I thought that was supposed to be the 5th spot in the batting order there. Was that
5th of the inning, but 6th.
I see. Okay, that's where we're at.
So Gears will come to the plate.
Well, they basically need to roll through their batting order now if they want to come back and tie this game. Unless somebody hits one over that 170 line, which counts for 2. But the thing is, that's another thing about wet conditions is I think you're less likely to hit a home run in these conditions.
That wasn't out, by the way, so 2nd out of the inning.
Thunder 1 out away.
Gears, ground ball, diving effort. Fielder couldn't get back to it in time. It's going to be safe.
You only get 1 chance with Gears. He may not be as fleet of foot as he was maybe 15 years ago, but he's still pretty fleet of foot. There it is.
Let's go! You could tell Gears was asking, was the ball dead? You can hear from the Bayou City dugout their response.
Yep, they're happy. You're never out of it until that last out is recorded. So now you got a 5-run spread.
So here's Finn coming up for a 2nd time. Finn retired as an out to start the inning. Trying to avoid being the 1st and last out of the inning.
Mike Finn, I'm trying to count up the number of championships he has at the World Series. I think it's 9.
Lifts this one foul. Swing and a miss.
I don't believe that a Bayou City hitter has taken a pass ball the entire game.
Ground ball, left side. Cody Jeffries
should do it.
has it lined up, and that's it.
Ball game.
That's it. Jeffries gets the outs. 19-14. Thunder win in 5.5 innings. The Thunder finish pool play at 2-1. We'll take this time out. We'll come back. We'll have post-game coverage brought to us by the Fitness Clinic. But this one has come to an end. Thunder win it by 5. Back to wrap it up next on the ISC Sports Network.
When a visit to the eye doctor ends in a diagnosis of blindness or visual impairment, Bosma Enterprises is there, providing low and high-tech tools that let adult Hoosiers keep living at home, and training that teaches people with vision loss how to cook meals, travel around their homes and towns, and continue their employment. Because the need for independence never fades, even when the sense of sight does. Bosma Enterprises. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org.
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. Oh! That's the finish. You get a layup to take it. And an and one. Fly ball.
Hi, I'm Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And of course, we do the incredibly creatively and appropriately named Query and Schultz program every Monday on ISC Sports Network. Derek, it airs at what time?
7:30.
Okay, every Monday at 7:30. We're now on season number 2, and if history tells us anything, catch us now because you never know when they pull the plug on it.
Why would you say that?
Because it's happened
That's not going
before.
to happen here. Comcast, Xfinity 81, ISCSportsNetwork.com, ISC Sports Network, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, so many places to watch Query and Schultz, 7:30 on Monday.
I am a blind vendor, and one of the things that I truly miss is reading Vending Times magazine.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
It is a fantastic service.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to continue their employment. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises. Visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to cook meals safely. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises. Visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
Thousands of Indiana residents feel isolated from the world due to vision problems. Thanks to the National Federation of the Blind, visually impaired Hoosiers can hear newspapers, circulars, and magazines from across the globe.
I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm blind. I read Stars and Stripes on NFB Newsline.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to travel around their homes and towns. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises. Visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to keep living at home. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises. Visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
I just graduated college as a blind student. How can I independently find job listings?
Thanks to the National Federation of the Blind, visually impaired Hoosiers can hear newspapers, circulars, and magazines from across the globe.
It is a fantastic service.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to travel around their homes and towns. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises. Visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to keep living at home. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Brewer jams it home. That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half.
Throw it up for Tillman.
Whoa, my goodness. 122.60 for Penn.
What a swim! Six of them.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to continue their employment. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to cook meals safely. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
Soggy day ends in a good way for the home team. The Indy Thunder beat the Bayou City Heat by a score of 19-14. Our post-game show brought to us by the Fitness Clinic. Enhance your fitness at the Fitness Clinic, where their motto is learn to move, move to live. Our skilled team here to support your journey with better health and vitality. Visit them now, fcindy.com, or call 317-876-9414 and see how movement can transform your life. The Fitness Clinic, proud sponsor of the Indy Thunder. Well, Cody Jeffries was outstanding at the plate. He had 4 runs. He was phenomenal in the field. We lost track of the putouts that he had. He joins us now as our player interview postgame. Cody, congratulations on the win. Your thoughts about the day in total for your team?
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. On the day as a total, not quite the way we wanted to finish it. We were hoping for a little higher, but hey, it's the way things rolled. We're happy with the production that we got out of everybody on the team. Everybody made contributions today. We had we had multiple home runs hit today, which was fantastic. We played a lot of people, right? Got a lot of guys in a lot of positions and stuff, and so we're feeling really good about where we are. It's a good test of metal for us, and it's a long season, and we're gearing up for the World Series, and we can't wait. So, not quite the way we wanted to finish, but hey, it was awesome. I love how we closed it out.
This is your second year with the team. What has your experience been like playing with the Indy Thunder so far?
I mean, it's been incredible. It's been absolutely fantastic. These guys welcomed me in with open arms, and it's been amazing ever since day one, right? Starting back last year, it was fantastic. This tournament was a lot of fun, and Jared and I, we clicked since day one, and I'm excited. I can't wait to see, the sky's the limit for this team.
As Dave and I talked about, it's not uncommon for a player to kind of live in one area and play for a different team. So you're commuting in from Atlanta for tournaments and for whatever practices you can get. What's that experience like, knowing you're traveling a lot to play a sport you love?
It's worth every bit of it. I couldn't do it without my girlfriend Christina. She helped make the trip up here, and without her I wouldn't be able to do it. But it's been awesome. We love it. We're about 45 minutes outside of Atlanta in Dallas, Georgia. But beat ball is something else up here. Beat ball is just different up here, and we love it.
Defensively, you were phenomenal in that short kind of left position. What's the key to your defensive success?
So really, that was my first real test at that spot, to be honest with you. Everybody has to be ready when the number's called to fill whatever role is. We try to be as versatile as possible. In practices, we do work on rotating people in different spots so that if there's an injury or somebody has to come out for whatever reason, or somebody misses a game, we can fill that role. And this was my first true test at that spot, and I feel pretty good about it.
All right, finally, before we let you go, again, you knew rain was going to be a factor in this last game of the day. Just how much of a factor was it in today's game? What's it like playing this sport in the rain versus dry conditions?
As long as there's no lightning and we're not throwing bats, it's fantastic. It's honestly, it kept us cool. It wasn't that bad. The weather really wasn't that bad.
Yep.
So
very good. I'll see you tomorrow morning, Cody. Thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys.
Love watching you play. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take that headset from you there, Mr. Jeffries. Thank you very much. Cody Jeffries kind enough to join us. I'm going to put these back on Dave Benny. I want to make sure I get a final comment from Dave, given his tremendous job of everything he does from an analyst standpoint. 19-14 final score. Thunder beat the Heat. Dave, your final thoughts on this one?
I think both teams can take some positives away from this game today. For the Indy Thunder, you end the day on a good note. You put 19 runs on the board, and you come away 2-1. We'll see who they're playing tomorrow morning. And for the Bayou City Heat, coming in with some new players and a little bit shorthanded today, losing by 5 to the Thunder at their own tournament is nothing to be really ashamed of. And you know, the Indy Thunder have some things to work on defense. They gave up a lot of runs, 39 runs in the last 2 games today against 2 power-hitting teams, but still, I'm sure that that's something that Booker and that Jared Woodard are going to want to focus on to try to cut that down. But a good game, all things considered. I think a well-played game in the raining conditions. And both teams are going to be competitive the rest of the season in the World Series.
So we are done for the day in terms of our broadcast, but also in terms of the action at North Central. Again, tomorrow morning, bright and early, championship game at 8 a.m. Dave, my Sports Network, we'll be back for that. Be sure you join us then. For now, goodbye from North Central High School. Thunder 19 beat Baseball Bonanza right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to travel around their homes and towns. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to keep living at home. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at